Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you're looking at me, well, the sickest man in all of internet wrestling radio. Boom, boom, here, shaking the room live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. I apologize. I'm a little under the weather. I don't know exactly where you guys live, but we've had like a huge flux in temperatures out here in central Virginia, where one day it would be like up in the 70s, and then the next day it would be down in the 40s. Yeah. And so because of that happened, it caused my sinuses to go absolutely haywire. It got really bad yesterday, and I'm on enough antihistamines right now to tranquilize a fucking horse. But I will carry on and move forward. I figured, I've had pretty much a shitty week, so figured do something to cheer me up here. And I realized, I haven't talked Sakura Genesis yet. So let's get into it, man. This past weekend on Easter Sunday, Sakura Genesis took place, I believe, Sumo Hall, Tokyo, Japan. Overall, I'd say it was a step up from Strong Style Evolve the previous week. There were some things that I was into. There was some stuff that caused me to cringe, and I'll get into that just a little bit later. But if you're a hardcore fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, check it out. If you're kind of a casual fan, you want to kind of see what the hype's all about. I think this would be a decent event. It's not their best event, but it's a decent event. It's nothing that I would be embarrassed to show a first-time viewer. That's always a good thing. If you're a professional wrestling fan and and somebody talks to you, it's like, hey, I heard about this, I want to check it out. Can you watch it with me? Like, if you would be embarrassed to sit next to them and have to explain everything to them, then no, they shouldn't watch that. But if you don't mind explaining a few things here and there, it's worth it. So let's get down to it here. We had opened up here with this tag match. We had some Bullet Club on Bullet Club action. We had the Young Bucks taking on Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi, along with, I think it's Peter is how they pronounce it. It's the bunny girl, the Tokyo Latina, muffin ass. That's her Twitter. That's her Instagram account. I'm not making that up. Just putting that out there. God, I love her. Anyway, this was actually turned out to be, I think, a decent opener. I was wondering to see if this was going to play to like a bigger storyline. They kind of had some behind the scenes stuff like being the Elite. They were like, oh, this was just bad booking. Why are we facing these guys? Okay, well, let's just, it's a good experience. Let's take advantage of the opportunity and maybe let's try to have a good time. I think Owens and Takahashi really held their own in that, but it wasn't enough. You got hit with the Bucks hit the super kick. Matt locked on the sharpshooter. He wipes, Nick takes out Yujiro Takahashi. Owens has got no place to go. He has to tap out. Bullet Club, shakes hands afterwards. Still pretty good. So I think it was a decent opener. I like how they're continuing the story here. They're kind of teasing, like, again, we're still on this tipping point. We're kind of teetering back and forth which way the Bullet Club's going to go. Is the OG's going to kick out the Elite? Or is everybody going to have to take sides? Either your Team Kenny, Team Cody, or there's going to be three sides, OGs, Kenny, and Cody. What other, there's, or different, all kinds of different places you could go with this. Who's going to take what side? I don't know where they're going to go, and I absolutely love it. Next, we had some more tag team action. We had Chaos versus Suzuki Goon. We have Taro Yano and Tomohiro Ishii taking on Taichi and Iizuka. This match, to be honest, it wasn't too good because I just couldn't stand Iizuka's fucking bullshit. I think one criticism I have is, I can appreciate the referee letting some stuff go, but when it gets to like blatant stuff done, it's one thing if like one guy distracts you and the bad guy distracts the referee and the other bad guy goes behind his back and hits the good guy with a steel chair or any kind of foreign object or chokes him, something illegal. I mean, that's just a good way to get heat. It's old school. I love it. But when stuff blatantly happens in front of you and you're just letting it go, it's like, well, what's the point of having rules? What's the point? I mean, why does anybody have to follow rules if you're not going to get disqualified? They just kind of both. It was basically Yano and Iizuka trying to out-heel each other, but eventually Yano hit the low blow. Ishii followed up the lariat. Toru Yano got the roll up on Iizuka, got the win. A lot of bullshit there. It was okay. Next was the never openweight 6-man tag team championship match. You had the Bullet Club OGs, Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, and Tangaloa taking on Michael Elgin, Togi Makabe, and Risuke Taguchi. This wound up being kind of a fun match. I didn't expect much going into this because I kind of felt like one of my criticisms of New Japan is the 6-man championships because I feel like they play hot potato with it too much. But I really felt like it could be something much greater than what they're presenting it as, because I think you could really use this championship as, hey, who's the best faction? Because you got 5 major factions right now in New Japan, and right now Bullet Club's got bragging rights. I figure why not present it like that instead of playing hot potato? It's just what 3 schmucks are you going to throw together? Little things to clear my throat. But the challengers got one up on the bad guys early on. They kind of lost control a little bit. I still like Taguchi. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I know Taguchi's one of the guys. He's kind of like Toru Yano. Either you love him or you hate him. I love him. I love this guy. I like it when he's signaling. When they put the bad guy in the corner and he's just like the third base coach, just sending him around third into the bad guy. Absolutely love that. I love that ending. Tama Tonga hit that gun stun. Guy came off the top, hit him with the gun stun, and just took him out. 1, 2, 3. Bullet Club retains. So it was better than what I thought it was going to be. Next, we have some more 6-man action. Apologize, I'm getting a little stopped up here, so I'm drinking some hot tea, trying to clear my throat up. I should have thought about this before I went on air. Next, we had 6-man tag action. We had David Finlay, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Chaos here. That's Hiroki Goto, Jay White, and Yoshi Hoshi. I think the big thing about this story was kind of like what was brewing underneath. You've got David Finlay pissed off at Jay White, going to go after him, even though he's like 1-9 against Jay White. He still wants to get a piece of him. Juice Robinson looks like New Japan's going to maybe push him slightly. He hit the pulp friction on Hiroki Goto. They're building him up to be a credible challenger for the never openweight championship, which I think is a decent place for him to start. I don't think he's going to capture it just yet, but every time that Robinson has been put in these big – well, you know what? He might, because every time they've put him in these big match situations, he's surprised you. He had a really good match against Tetsuya Naito last year for the Intercontinental Championship. Was unsuccessful. He actually got a win over Kenny Omega in the G1. He also had a great match against Hiroshi Tanahashi in the semifinals for the New Japan Cup. So every time that he's been in these big match situations, he's been able to deliver. At least in my opinion, he has, and I absolutely think he's worthy of a push. And Tanahashi's just a fucking man. His career's starting to wind down a little bit. Now he's not to the point where he's going to be like Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata, where he's just like working with young lions and opening up matches, against like Tiger Mask. But no, I think he's still got a viable role to play. I just don't know if he's going to have that huge, major championship run like he did like 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, the good guys here, don't take that for what you will. Finlay, Robinson, and Tanahashi, they won via Tanahashi's high fly flow on Yoshi Hoshi. And poor Yoshi Hoshi. I know I talked about this last video. I said that if let's just for fun, let's play a game where let's just pretend, with the New Japan's got reopened up their Los Angeles dojo. They just graduated their first spring class. They just announced that Katsuri Shibata is going to be back there in May, presumably teaching another class. And I just said, for fun of it, let's just pretend that New Japan produced a 1-hour television show out of California using their trainees from their Los Angeles dojo, but they had to bring over some guys from the main roster that really weren't doing anything, that had nothing going for them on the main roster, just to kind of fill out the roster. Who would you bring up? What would you do with them? One of the first people that popped up in my mind was Yoshi Hoshi. I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I just think he's just missing that little oomph, that little certain something. I think they need to give him, ironically enough, the Naito treatment. You know, Naito was just a white meat baby face, had nothing going for him. People didn't take him seriously. They sent him away. He went to Mexico. He, developed the whole, he embraced the whole Los Ingobernables faction over there in CMLL. Comes back and starts the Japan branch of that, completely changed in attitude, look, and just his career took off. I think Yoshi Hoshi I think it would be better, in my opinion, it would be best for him to get away from Japan for a while, come here to the United States, just kind of feel out things, find himself, maybe experiment, try a few things, see what works, what doesn't work, tweak it. And then, maybe make him a bigger star, because I'm a big fan of that. I want everybody to care about everybody who comes through that curtain. If I was running a business, any business, but, including a wrestling promotion, you want everybody to care about everybody, because you want to be able to sell tickets. And one more guy that they care about, maybe that's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 100 or 1,000,000 or whatever more tickets you can sell. Take that for what you will. But anyway, Yoshi Hoshi eats the pin. Next year, we have 6-man tag action. We've got Los Ingobernables de Japan taking on Suzuki-gun. Of course, we got Naito, Sonata, and the returning Evil after he had that broken orbital bone, taking on Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, Lance Archer, and Davey Boy Smith. Lance Archer, shame on you. You made a little boy cry. Spitting out water on everybody. Good God, I think he comes out like a whole fucking case of water in his fucking pants, and then just starts hosing down everybody. This turned out to be a brawl, and I think I like this because it set up more LIJ versus Suzuki-gun stuff. You have Suzuki-gun, you had particularly Killer Elite Squad hit like the killer bomb on Evil. They get the pin, so you got to think they're in line to get a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. You had a great exchange between Suzuki and Naito. Naito just completely disrespecting Suzuki. Suzuki just eats him up, and he just beats the shit out of him. Naito finally got on the microphone. It's like, oh, if you wanted me to say something, why didn't you just ask? And it's like, he called out, it's like, you treat this Intercontinental Championship like it's a treasure. Well, maybe it meant more when I was just tossing it around. And then, long story short, there was basically a challenge for the Suzuki. Basically, essentially challenged Naito to challenge him for the Intercontinental Championship. Looks like that's going to happen. In true Suzuki fashion, he beats the shit out of a young lion and then walks off. Oh my God, that was a good exchange, by the way. Next, we had the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match. You had the champions, El Desperado and Kanemaru, taking on Roppongi 3K, and then LIJ represented by Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. I liked it. I think it was okay. I think they need to get away from this fucking 3-team formula right now. You do it in one time, make it feel special, try to build up. I really feel like that since the Young Bucks left, and I know they did that, they basically, to fix one problem, they created another problem. They had the Young Bucks leave the junior heavyweight tag team division to go up to the heavyweight tag team division. But when you do that, you created another hole in the junior tag team division. So I really think you need to put together at least one more team here. But Desperado and Kanemaru, I'm not completely sold on them. I like them. I guess they make me mad. I guess for the right reasons, because they're really not that great and they have to cheat like fuck. Roppongi 3K, I mean, they're still young. I mean, they're already 2-time tag team champions, which kind of gives me some indication of what kind of trouble this division's in. And then I think this would work, but so far, I really think it just needs a little bit more support. But I kind of like Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi, because if Takahashi's not going to make a run at the junior heavyweight tag team championship, I like the idea of I like the idea of keeping them in the tag division. I like this tag team of Bushi. I like their fucking finisher. It's kind of like a super MX. And if you're wondering what that is, basically picture like a code breaker from like the top, essentially from the top rope, kind of like set up like the Doomsday device, but it's the code break into the code breaker. I think it works. As far as what I would do to fix this, I would move Taguchi down and maybe try to find him a tag team partner that could at least fill that 4 thing. And then that way you've got 4 teams to work with. I might want to try to put together another tag team after that, so you have 5, and you can kind of rotate it to kind of build up people. And then at least right there, if you have like 1 challenge a month, I mean, that's still 3 months worth of content, 3 months of challenge, 3 months of challengers right there, or 3 major events. And then you could maybe go back to like the 3 or hell, even a 4-corner, elimination match to kind of build it up. So it's good on paper. It just in execution, it's not so well. Let's see next. Oh shit. Oh yeah. This one I've been wanting to talk about. For the junior heavyweight championship, you had Osprey versus Skrull. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to pretend to like just go, okay, let's, kind of tiptoe around this. Let's get down. Yeah. No, let's talk about what fucking happened. Will Osprey is I don't know if he's the dumbest man in professional wrestling or the gutsiest man in professional wrestling, but he did this fucking stunt with Skrull, and it legitimately fucking scared me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's all over the internet. It's all over Twitter. It's on YouTube, or at least it was last time I checked. Of course, you can always check the replay at New Japan World. He took a Spanish fly off. He went from the ring apron to the floor with that. Now, on first glance, it didn't. I was like, oh, that doesn't. What is everybody? And then they showed the replay from the opposite angle. He hit his neck, not his head, his fucking neck on the fucking apron, goes straight down, on the ring apron, comes up. He's a bloody fucking mess. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, okay, the match is over. Fucking stop the match now. And these guys are professionals. And I like how and on the one hand, I like how they kind of incorporated this in the match. Skrull then immediately went after Osprey. He gave him like a tombstone pile driver on the outside. Then he played like his knees were hurt, trying to get and I thought, okay, well, they're going to do a count out right here. They're going to get him counted out. They both got the out. This, shit happens, but no, they kept going. And then Skrull kept playing, Lord, he was attacking the neck. He did one point where he was repeatedly stepping on Osprey's neck. And he kind of broke a rule with professional wrestling, in my opinion. And in my opinion, that is, I should have concern for the character, not the person. I should be concerned about Will Osprey, the character. I should not be concerned about Will Osprey, the human being. And I was actually legitimately worried about Will Osprey, the human being. Now, he's tougher than a fucking bag of 16-penny nails. I'll give him that. Skrull, I think, did a good job of taking care of him, and they played into, here's the opportunity. This, here's basically the hand that's been dealt to us. Let's shift over this. Let's play on this. I think it shows good ring awareness and good professionalism on their part. But I really don't think they should have continued. I think New Japan, I love you. I think it was a great match. I'm not really mad at either guy. So if somebody has to pass this along to either Osprey or Skrull, I'm not mad at either one of them. I still like them. I'm still going to watch them. I still respect the hell out of what they do. But it's in this case right here, I felt like the referee, the promoter, you should have stepped in. Because you got lucky this time, but it may not happen. But if this happened, you don't want this to happen again. That's my point. I really, looking back on it, I don't think that move was necessary. I think had that move not happened, I don't think it would have taken away from the match. And I'm just saying, New Japan really needs to talk to their talent and let them know, you got to know when to fucking take a step back. You got to know when to say when, because, Shibata is training people in the Los Angeles dojos. Why? Because he gave a shoot headbutt to Okada, hurt himself. And may have, he says he's not done, but may have just fucking ended his own goddamn career. And for what? And when you look back on it, it's been a fucking year. It's been exactly 1 year. Yeah. This fucking Sunday marked 1 year since Shibata had that match with Okada. Had he not done that, he'd still be wrestling. And God forbid, Osprey go a little too far, a little too, like a millimeter to the left, a little millimeter to the right, and broke his goddamn neck. This guy's, I don't say this out of hatred. I don't say this out of malice. I don't say this trying to be, fucking smart. I just say this as a human being. Please don't do shit like that. Just please. I want to have concern for the character, not for the people. And something that, I tell you right now, if I would have come down on my fucking neck like that, and I would have come up and my head was fucking split open, I was a bloody goddamn mess, I don't know if I'd be able to fucking continue. And, that makes you a pussy. Well, whatever. But they carried on well past that point. That match went just over 30 minutes. And Osprey, after the match, proved that, beating Scroll wasn't a fluke, and he wanted to move on, wanted to cement his legacy. So then he went down to Kushida, who was doing commentary at ringside, challenged him for a match because he says he really needs to beat him to prove that, to carry on. And I don't know if you saw, but Don Callis had a great line. It's like, well, don't you think, if you're going to, before you lay out a challenge, you should at least go see the doctor first? Rocky Romero, who's doing guest commentary, did a great job, by the way. Romero said, yeah, if he's in the Chaos faction with Osprey, says he needs to take a couple of weeks off. And I, actually kind of agree with that. But if you've seen Osprey's Twitter account, he's saying that he's going to be in New Orleans. And last time I checked, I think he had like 3 matches booked. I think he's got a match with Progress. I think he's got like some I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I think he's got at least 3 matches playing in New Orleans this weekend. WrestleMania weekend, says he's going to be there. Again, I think it was a hell of a match. I think it may have, I'm going to go on a limb and say maybe the best match on there. But I really wish they would take a step back and not do some of this gutsy shit. I mean, New Japan, I know it's strong style, and I know there's like, I don't think wrestling hurt and all that stuff makes you tough. I think it makes you a little stupid because, they had to make Trent take time off. He tore a pec. And he's like, oh, no, he tried to wrestle. Actually, no, he did wrestle. He did fucking wrestle. And that didn't, so they had to put him, so they had to make him take time off, and they've got Chucky T taking his, filling his obligations right now. New Japan, again, just please talk with your guys, and please, and this is just me as a human being. I hope nobody thinks I'm being a smart ass on this one or some asshole who thinks he knows everything, but I'm just saying, as a fucking human being, please, I'm begging you, guys, just don't take unnecessary risks, because I want you to be safe. And I want to be able to see you wrestle, 10, 15 years from now. I enjoy seeing you wrestle now. I want to continue to enjoy you wrestle. I don't want to be worried about if somebody's going to do something stupid. And we're getting to a point now where I'm worried that somebody's going to, we're not, wait a minute, we've already had it. We've already had one fucking stupid stunt that essentially about ended somebody's career. And for what? So that's all I'm going to say about it. But definitely a match worth checking out. Next, we had tag team match. We had the Golden Lovers versus Bullet Club. Of course, it's Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi versus Cody and Hangman Page. A lot of people love this match. I didn't like it as much as other people did. I don't think it was bad. I just think, to me, it kind of seemed like it was a little off at times. There was some lull moments. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi were definitely better than what they were at Strong Style Evolved. Cody has got what I call like Shane Douglas syndrome. And if you're wondering what Shane Douglas syndrome is, that's when you can talk a really good game, but you really can't back it up that well in the ring. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. He's had great matches. He's had phenomenal matches. But I think there's just sometimes in this one here, it's just like he just kind of wrestles, kind of wrestled below his competition in this one. I mean, there's been times when he's risen up. He's had a great match against Okada. He had a great match against Dalton Castle. But this one, and Hangman Page, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say he's wrestling over his head right now. He's getting better. Don't get me wrong. I think he's really improved. I think that's one good thing that's come out of him being with the Elite. I think he's really tried to up his game, and it's shown. He's busting his ass. I just don't think he's there yet. It's not that he's not capable. It's just like a baseball player, a football player, a basketball player, when they come in their freshman year of high school. Yeah, they got some talent, and they're playing to get some, better players, and it's making them better, but they're not quite there yet, but they're going to get there. And by the time he becomes a senior, oh my God, he's going to be fucking phenomenal. That's the way I see Page. Page is right now like the freshman. I think he's really stepped his game up. He's busting his ass right now, and I admire him for that. I just don't think he's there yet, but he's going to get there. I think before his tenure and everything's up in New Japan, I think he's going to be one of the better guys there. But anyway, Cody and Hangman Page get the win through some fucking roll-up bullshit. Cody rolls up Ibushi and grabs the tights. Can't wait for both Cody and Kenny's match at Ring of Honor this weekend. Then we get to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. You got Okada versus Zack Sabre Jr., the man who won the New Japan Cup. And it was about what I thought it was going to do. I kind of didn't like the beginning of it because I thought what the story should have been was, okay, here's Okada taking on a submission master. And, he's got to find a way to get out of these submissions. He's got to find a way to create some space. He's got to find a way to get Zack Sabre Jr. out of his comfort zone and find a way to finally hit that Rainmaker and put him down. Instead, they kind of went with, well, Okada used to work in Mexico. He knows some submission holds from there, so he's going to get on the mat and wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. and go toe-to-toe with him, which would have been okay, but Zack Sabre Jr. plowed through everybody in the New Japan Cup. So to me, I understand that Okada's the champion, he's the big guy, but here's a guy who does not primarily mat wrestle and do submission holds, left and right, whereas Zack Sabre Jr. does. And I just kind of didn't like the idea of, okay, here's this champion who really doesn't wrestle that style, period. And all of a sudden could go toe-to-toe with one of the best, mats, submission wrestlers in the world right now. But it was okay. They eventually got, they did finally start telling the story where he was starting to escape the submissions. I like that arm bar into that neck breaker. But to me, the question, I really just don't think they did some great drama where Zack Sabre Jr. countered the Rainmaker into an arm bar, and they brought up that's the way that Nakamura did it. It's the only time Okada's ever been submitted. But eventually, Okada proved to be a little too much. He reversed out of an octopus hold, hit like a power bomb, Rainmaker, counters, hits the tombstone, another Rainmaker, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. So 35-minute classic. Okada beat Zack Sabre Jr. To me, I really don't think the championship was in jeopardy. I just didn't think they were. I still don't know who's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be Naito. Maybe that could be a big question down here in the comment section in the doodly doo. Who do you think is going to finally be the guy who beats Okada? Who do you think is going to finally snap that streak? I'm still going to put my money on Naito. I think it's going to be a while, but I'm still gonna keep my money on Naito right now. I'm not giving up on my boy yet. I think an outside chance would be Omega, but I think that question is going to come back. Is he going to stay with New Japan long term? If he stays with New Japan long term, I think it's guaranteed he's going to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. But right now, my safe bet's Naito because he's not going anywhere. Fans love him. He's selling merch left and right. They've already told a story where he won the G1. He made that challenge. He got off his game a little bit. He lost, and now he's going to have to, he got knocked all the way back down the ladder. Now he's got to climb back up. He realizes once I get that shot again, I'm not going to make that same mistake twice, and this time he'll win it. At least that's the way I would go. Geto, of course, put over Okada. And then in comes Hiroshi Tanahashi and makes an open challenge for him. I believe it's Wrestling Dantaku is coming up next. Normally, I would be against this because after seeing 3 Wrestle Kingdoms in a row main evented by Okada and Tanahashi, I never ever wanted to see that match again. I was like, this it was starting to turn into John Cena, Randy Orton for me, but it was actually good. I never wanted to see it again, but in this circumstances, because New Japan, they're really good about hyping up like the athleticism and the records. Because right now, Okada has surpassed, I believe, he's actually got the longest championship reign in New Japan history. Somebody brought up that he just tied a record with Tatsumi Fujinami for most foreigners beaten in an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. I believe it's 7. Right now, he's tied Tanahashi for successful title defenses, and if he can defend against him, he'll break Tanahashi's record. And I kind of like this idea that Tanahashi, wants to defend that record. He wants to defend his record for most successful title defenses. I would also argue that Tanahashi was a little bit more successful as a champion, and like people's like, whoa, wait a minute, what the fuck? Yes, Tanahashi had a record. I think his title reign was just over 400 days. I know that. I want to say right around 450 days. But he had 11 successful title defense. So he did 11 successful title defenses in over 400 days, whereas it's taken over 600 days for Okada to get to this point. Right now, the only record that's still left to be broken is number of IWGP Heavyweight Championship reigns, which Tanahashi holds. And for Okada to do that, they have to pull like a Charlotte Flair on Okada for that to happen, and I just don't want to do that. But no, this one I kind of like the idea of seeing it one more time because they've kind of kept Okada and Tanahashi apart from each other for at least the past year and a half now. Actually, couple of years now. They've kept them apart, which is good. Kind of makes the matchup a little bit fresh. And plus, there's the old ace, wanting to defend his record against the new ace. To me, it's a good story. And so overall, good match. Good match, but a good show. The undercard, I didn't hate it as much as other people did. Some of the big matches, I'd say if you're going to skip ahead, I would say start with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team match. Junior Heavyweight Championship match between Osprey and Skrull, and go forward from there. If you're only going to watch one match, I would say Skrull, Osprey, but I think the last 3 matches are absolutely phenomenal. I want to see where they go from here, and I wish them the best of luck. All right, let me do some questions here, and then I'll kind of update you on some shit going on. Snake Eyes, thanks for joining me live, buddy. Let's see. He says, Will Osprey will be lucky if he's still wrestling at 30. He needs to tone it down. I agree. I hopefully this was like a big wake-up call for him. Hopefully he'll I think he's tweaked his style a little bit in recent months because I think he realizes that if he keeps up with the shit he's doing, he's not going to be able to walk by the time he's fucking 30. So hopefully this will just be another lesson. And then isn't Tama Tonga the cousin of Roman Reigns? No. Tama Tonga is the son of Haku. You may know him as Ming. But no, that's his son. And Hikuleo and Tonga Loa, those are his brothers. But as far as I know, they're not. I know that Haku is like the godfather of The Rock, and I guess maybe that's where you're getting that connection from. And The Rock and the Samoans are connected there, but it's all I know. All right, so I think that's going to wrap up on the review here. As far as the schedule coming up here, Dave and I are going to try to do a review on Friday. That's been our goal. There's just been, like last week, Coco was sick, didn't want to do couldn't do the podcast, so I was like, I just went ahead and skipped it. I'll tell you what, regardless if Coco is ready to go on Friday or not, I will do a show Friday morning because it's WrestleMania weekend. I really have to, talk about some of the events coming up. I'll probably give some predictions, even though I'm not a huge WWE fan anymore. I'll try to, recap, kind of do the lay down, do some predictions for WrestleMania. Of course, you got NXT. You're going to have Impact versus Lucha Underground. Rev Pro's running the show out there. I mean, just like everybody, if I had a wrestling promotion, I'd be running it out there because you'd be fucking dumb not to. So either way, Friday I'll be doing a show with or without Coco. I'm hoping he'll join me. Speaking of Coco, you can ask him any question on Stump the Idiot. Just tweet him at Kocosports. Again, that's at Kocosports. He'll do a little video on it, put it up here on the YouTube page. Also buy his book, Operation Freak Show, available at Amazon.com. Be sure to check out our buddy Wrestling and Rantin'. That's Wrestling, R-A with 3 S's, L-I-N, Rantin', R-A-T-I-N. He's doing a phenomenal job right now. He's really hit his stride. He's put out some great videos, some great reviews. And hey, if you throw him a few bucks, man, he'll review anything for you. He'll review like an old WrestleMania if you want him to. But and by the way, I don't get any money for this. I'm just supporting him because he's a super nice guy. He was really good to us when he first came on, and we want to support each other and just so go check him out. So that's going to do it for me. So the boom just went bang, and I am out.